Okay, my next one is equal to 0. But let's go through our factoring rules. Is there a common factor? Yes. I can pull out a 2 for sure. And it looks like maybe a 3. Can I get a 6 out of there? Yes. Is that the biggest one? I think 6 is. A 6x actually, because I have an x to the third. And then I divide in 6 into 18, so 3x squared left there. 6x into 66x squared is 11x minus 4 equals 0. Then I have my trinomial. So I'm going to trial and error that. So 3x squared is 3x times 1x. I need opposite signs, and I can already visualize this, so I'm just going to go to the right answer. 2 and 2 won't work. So 4 and 1 works. And again, as you factor, start thinking about that. When you're thinking about 24, before you even write numbers, in my head, I'm going 3 times 4, and then 1 times 1. Okay? So outer times outer, 12. Inner times inner, minus 1. 12 minus 1 is my 11. Now I have 3 solutions. My power told me that. So the 1 on the outside gives me 0. And then this one is positive 1/3. And negative 4 over 1 or negative 4.
Which power told you that? The 18?
On the 18. So you just look at the highest exponent that you have, and that's going to tell you how many answers you have. Okay, the next one is not equal to 0. And the x squared term, which needs to be the first term, is negative. So instead of moving stuff to the left and taking out a negative, I'm going to move stuff to the right. So my squared term is positive. Okay? So I'm going to minus the 4x and add the 4x squared. So my order is important. I think, or I hope, we have done enough factoring that you know the x squared comes first, and then the x term, and then the constant term. If you subtracted the 1 and brought it to the left, which is absolutely fine, definitely pull out a common factor of a negative. And that's all you'd be able to take out, but take that negative out. Okay? So I will tell you, this is a good time to say that. The reason I would do that, the shortcut doesn't work unless you have it in the right order. If you don't have the x and then the constant, like if your x is on the right side, you got to be really careful of your shortcut because it doesn't work the same. Okay? All right, so here we have 4x squared, so 2x times 2x. Both my signs are minus, and 1 times 1. So let's check. Outer is negative 2, inner is negative 2, and there's my negative 4. So I get 2 solutions. My power tells me that's how many I should have. But they're both the same number. Both of them are 1/2. So I only need to write it 1 time. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you something, just because I think it's important just to show you this. And you'll do way more of this when you get to college algebra or pre-calc. Okay? When you have solutions to an equation, every equation has a graph associated with it. Okay? So like this one that we just did here, okay? Its graph is going to look something like, okay, there's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these numbers tell you where the graph passes through. I honestly, I am embarrassed to say I can't remember all the rules of if it starts up or down. I can't remember all that off the top of my head. But I know this, that means that my graph passes through these 3x values. So it's going to pass through negative 4. So let's just say it goes something like this. And then it's going to come back through at 0. and then it's going to go back down at 1/3. So it's going to look something like that. That graph will look something like that. These three numbers are the points where your graph passes through. And I don't know how high or how low it goes. That's just an estimate. Okay? And then there's rules associated with, does it start up or down? You'll learn all that. Okay? I just can't remember those. Now, when you get this, okay, which is called a double root because it's the same number 2 times. Okay? What that means is that it passes through, it doesn't pass through 1/2, it just touches it at 1/2. It won't go all the way through the graph, it's just tangent and just intersects at 1/2, but won't all go all the way through. Okay? So those are things that you'll learn junior year, but they're really good things to know for standardized test questions because they'll give you a graph and say, what are the 3 solutions? Well, then you just look at where it crosses the graph. Those are the x values. Okay? So fun facts in algebra. Okay, next 2 questions. You'll notice that they both have parentheses, but they're not equal to 0. So this is one of those ones that I said at the beginning. If you have parentheses and it's not equal to 0, then you have to get rid of the parentheses, get it to one side, and then refactor it. Okay, so you got to incorporate that stuff in there. So this means that on this side over here, I'm going to FOIL. First times first, outer times outer, inner times inner, last times last. So get rid of the parentheses. Now we'll get it equal to 0, so I'll subtract that 12. So I get x squared, go ahead and combine those x's, plus 2x minus 15 equals 0. So again, I FOILed and got rid of my parentheses. Bring my 12 over so it equals 0. So negative 3 minus 12 is negative 15. Combine those x's. And then we'll refactor now. You'll notice on solving that the factoring is not at any real difficulty level. It's more on the simpler side. 5 and 3, because that will give me my positive 2 if I place those correctly. Positive 5 minus 3 gives me my 2, which makes my 2 solutions negative 5 or positive 3. Okay, then same thing on this last one. If there are parentheses and it's not equal to 0, get rid of those parentheses and then get equal to 0 and refactor. So on the left, x times x is x squared. X times minus 6 is minus 6x equals 4 times x is 4x. 4 times minus 4 is minus 16. And then we'll get that equal to 0. We will subtract the 4x and add the 16. So I have x squared minus 10x plus 16 equals 0. And I refactor this. X squared is x times x. My signs are both minus. And 16, 8 times 2. That will give me my negative 10 in the middle. And then my 2 solutions, positive 8 and positive 2. Okay, anything from those that I can go back and take a look at?